phone is off.
This is Karen with newclevelandradio.net, and it's time for Avoid the Maze. You know, life is a maze. We are all going to go through it. And as you go through the maze, you're going to hit a wall, and you may know how to get around it or over it, or maybe even break through it. But sometimes we just stand there wondering, is this all there is? You're not alone. Today, my guest, Justin ITee Walker, I love your middle name, is going to share his story. And his story may appear a little bit dark, but you know what? That's okay, because there is a way to come out of the darkness. But we as individuals have to make that choice. Nobody could have made it for Justin. Nobody can make it for me. So thank you, podmatch.com, for introducing me to Justin ITee Walker. And Justin, take us on a journey.
Oh, good morning, Karen. Very nice to be here today. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely.
How far back do we want to go? I mean,
Well,
hell of a ride.
when I look at your bio, and I know you have a podcast as well, when you
Yeah,
look at the bio, it says, in your darkest moment, when you overdosed, blacked out, and died in an ambulance. Now,
yeah.
when many of us read that, and I didn't read any further on purpose, but when many of us read that, it's like, really? Oh, but he's here. So how did he die in an ambulance? Okay. And then sometimes when we hear your story, there are some of us who are skeptics and we just don't
I,
believe what you saw, what you heard, and what propelled you. But the reality of it is that comes from within. So take us from there.
okay, I will try my best from my recollection. So, yes. So I'll kind of go from before the ambulance. So I kind of led up to that a little bit. And that was, I was out on the eve of 2023, partying, having fun with friends, drinking, doing cocaine. But before that, I was sober for about almost 2 years. But it was a really rough time trying to figure out how to be sober. So I kept trying different things. They weren't working. I was getting frustrated and sick and fed up with it. And I finally just had it. I'm going to go out and party one more time. But little did I know it was going to be almost my last time. Because, like you said earlier, people might not believe what I may be saying, and that's okay. You know, 'cause it was my journey that I went through, but I'm hoping it helps inspire people to understand there is a darker mode to things in life, but there's also light as well. And we have to understand getting there is not always a straight and narrow path. It's dirty, dark, messy, and horrible. But things we see on social media make it look so simple. Like, you know.
You know, it's interesting that we're talking about this now because I was just talking to a friend um, who was at an event this weekend. Everything was beautiful. And she left, went home, and everything is still beautiful. But she found out that at this event, um, people were over enjoying their drinks and other things that they were participating in. And
Yeah.
there were some ugly moments. Now, she only heard about it through the grapevine. But both she and I, she was sharing this with me, I have a hard time understanding it. I don't drink. Okay. Never.
Good.
Now, I won't say never have. I have in the past, but not to the point of letting it overtake me. If I start to feel, hey, I'm losing control, I stop. But
Yeah.
that's me. I've had, for some reason, I'm lucky. I have that control. Not everybody does.
No.
And from what I understand from people who don't have that control, when things are dark in their life or aren't going the way they want it, boy, if that drink, if that drug can just make me happy for a few minutes, maybe I can climb out of it. But the reality of it is, it
No.
pulls you back in.
It's like maybe 3 seconds and then you're depressed again. And that goes down the longer you do it.
So when you went through this, what
Yes.
pushed you to say, okay, I can't keep doing this?
Yeah, so let me go back to my story a little bit. I think it might have some context in it. So between the party part and the overdose, it was 2023. I came back home. I decided, well, I'm not done partying because that's just me. I just keep going, keep having fun, quote unquote. So I ended up doing too much coke, and I realized like something just went completely calm and numb. And I was like, everything was calm, and it was just like nothing else mattered. It was just so clear. And I was like, oh shoot, I think I'm overdosing. But it was just such a calm moment. Like I've never felt that calm and clarity in my life. And it was strange. But then towards that moment kind of faded a little bit. I realized that I was overdosing, so maybe I should go lay down for a second. So I laid on my floor, but something jolted me up and made me go get on my phone and call 911. But in that process, they asked me for my name and my address, and I was like, what? So I got my ID out because couldn't remember my name or where I lived. I was trying to read it and I couldn't see it. Things were just kind of going fading. I was like, this is not good. And I'm like, hold on, hold on. I ran out my door of my apartment and started knocking on doors for people to help me. And I think someone answered, but I couldn't see, like something was blocking me from seeing anymore, but I could hear them. So I put my phone down what I recall. And from that point, I blacked out and woke up at the bottom of the stairs. But from what I was told, I got a brain bleed. I fell down the stairs, blacked out, woke up, kind of moving and twitching because of the brain bleed. And there was a lot. I'll kind of stop there a little bit because a lot to take in. I can continue in a moment.
A brain bleed, falling
Yeah.
down the steps, and you were just walking out trying to get some help.
Yeah, something jolted me and moved me to go get help. And this is like, it was very calm too. I wasn't freaking out. I had such clarity I've ever had in my life. And it was really strange. I was overdosing. I've done too much, but there's such clarity and calmness. And I was just like, this is weird. But to continue from the bottom of the stairs when I woke up, I remember some people being there. And from what I recall, I was hallucinating a lot or hearing voices or things talking. All this was going. I didn't know what was really my reality anymore. I think of the brain bleed and the drugs. But someone helped me go out to the ambulance. I guess they were out there trying to find me. So they walked me over there to them, and it was really hard for me to function. I didn't know. The reality was so distorted. But by the time they got me in the ambulance, all of a sudden I started seeing all these different colors flashing. And like, I don't know if between the ambulance and inside the what happened, but all this flashing colors. And then from there, I just remember waking up in the hospital bed. From what I asked the nurse, they said that I'd overdosed and that my heart had stopped.
Oh,
And I was like,
wow.
what? And they said, yeah. I don't know for how long, I don't recall. But I did remember when I did wake up, I was talking with the nurse. They were the most kindest, sweetest people I've ever talked to in my life. Because like this from what I was going through, how I was feeling, they were so calm and so human to me. Not saying, oh my God, another overdose or something. They were just so nice and sweet and kind. And that clicked something on me that I was going to start working more in healthcare with my cybersecurity business. But to kind of back up to the ambulance, and between the ambulance and the hospital bed, that's why I heard a voice speak to me saying that my journey was not over. I have more here to do. It was just like I was stuck in an in-between world. It could have been the people talking in the ambulance. It could have been me in another world. It's really hard to say. I was high as hell too, you know. But I'm sure there was a voice that spoke to me and brought me back. I don't know, whatever people want to believe. I'm very spiritual, and I believe there's more to this world than what we know or understand or even see or can even fathom in our minds. But yeah, that's that story right there. And maybe want to just get into healthcare and cybersecurity and help those people protect their businesses because of that. But I found from what I'm doing now is even more than that. So I started my podcast for my business. I found that is so strong, so powerful, more than just building a business, but creating human connections, learning how to talk and have conversations, bringing things to the masses, how powerful those can be to have those conversations and help other people see and understand this. Because life is hard. It's easy with us talking about it.
It's interesting because over the past week, there's been a lot of terrible things happening in our
Yeah.
world.
Rest in
And
peace.
I've had people reach out to me and say, why do you do your podcast? Sometimes you're stirring up a hornet's nest because your
Yeah.
guest is talking about something. And my comment is, this is our way of learning. We're talking about human experiences. And that's why I do this podcast the way I do. I ask my guests to talk about what they've experienced, what they are experiencing, and what they want to do with that. That doesn't mean we all have to follow in Justin's footsteps. We don't. But if we can find one little thing in this podcast that resonates with us, then we are better for it because
Yes.
we're listening and communicating something that we have lost along the way.
Yeah.
So you're in cybersecurity, which is a huge field. Okay.
It is.
And we need protection from it. And our young children need protection from it.
Yes.
So tell me, what is it about the cybersecurity world that drew you to say, I really have to do this and I have to make it safer?
Yes. So before the term cybersecurity was around, I've been doing security protocols and technology since I was probably 16 years old, with an emphasis on being secure and doing things the correct way. And throughout that, I got into this world, this technology that I understood it, but that I also saw there was something lacking and missing. The same thing that I had lost during my drug addiction and before my overdose was my humanity. And I saw from that healing process that the humanity is missing from cybersecurity also. It's a bunch of technology. They throw a bunch of things at you, pay all this money, you're protected. Half of that is correct. The rest is bullshit
Yeah.
because the human part is missing, and not just from cyber, but from other businesses. We've separated business and personal so far that we forgot how to be human in our lives and our jobs and to being humans to other people. So I'm starting with cybersecurity, but I've noticed through my podcast, it's more than that because bringing the humanity to the cyber is where I have to start at learning how to communicate with people, being patient with them, helping them understand things on their level to see where they are and get them to where they need to be to protect their business, not sell them a bunch of crap they don't need, and that's what a lot of these companies do. And I've learned on this journey, there's a lot of other companies that are doing this same thing. They're very human centric because we're the ones spending the money. We're the ones that need to be protected. So why aren't we talking to human beings like human beings and having those discussions? We're not doing it the correct way, obviously.
It's interesting because my husband's also in IT, not necessarily the security world, but he's in IT.
Yes.
And he has a friend who called him the other day and he said um, that something happened to his bank account. I'm not exactly sure if it was through his portal or through the bank, but he called up all upset. He said, when he talked to the bank and the bank told him 5 different programs he had to add to his computer. So my husband said, whoa, stop. Are they selling you the programs? He goes, oh, no, no, no. They just gave me the names of them. He said, number one, you don't need all 5. He said, first thing I want you to do is bring your computer over. Let's clean it up. Let's make sure there's no viruses on it. Do you have virus protection? Well, he turned it off. and he has the pre-virus protection from Microsoft. Okay.
Free
Why
is never
did you,
good.
yeah, why did you turn it off? Well, I didn't think I needed it. Well, number one, do you pay for insurance when you drive your car? Yes. Do you pay for insurance for your health? Do you pay for homeowners insurance? Okay, you're protecting yourself. Now
Yeah.
we got to protect whatever it is you're doing on your computer. And he was so grateful to know that maybe all he needed was this one program. My husband said, I'm not going to tell you that's all you need because I don't know where you're going on your
It's a
computer.
start. Yeah.
So that's the other thing we're going to do. When I go through your computer with you, we're going to talk about what you're really doing. He said, also, if you're not working with a bank who has security, you need to switch banks.
It's the educational issues where it is, having the patience to help people understand. Because, like you
Exactly.
said, like cyber came so fast, people get scared by computers. But it's the same thing as that you have a car and you have car insurance. It's just understanding. And if you don't, find someone who's willing to take the time and patience to explain to you and sit down with you and do it, you know? So I tell them. And it's
So,
a lot. It's information overload. There's so much you
well,
have to do.
and and there is, and
Yeah.
so many of us just don't. I used to teach computer software training back in the 90s. And when I was doing it, I walked into every classroom and I was teaching adults who were already in the business field that they had to know how to use Word or Excel or whatever the product was. And I taught it to them the way they each needed it. So I could have had 20 people in the room and they needed to learn it 20 different ways. But I'm
Yes.
going to show you if you just write emails, this is how you're going to do it. If you're writing documents, this is what you have to know. And it took that fear away. And it was like, well, if I can get to know this, then maybe I can figure out the next step, or I'll come back to you to learn
You
what the
met
next.
them where they were and where they needed to
Absolutely.
be. So we get a lot of vendor overwhelm by everyone trying to sell you a product, make you spend money. Spending money does not equal safe. Free does not equal safe.
Right.
But education and knowledge will help create more of a safety than you were.
So, what do you talk about on your podcast? Tell us about the podcast.
Ooh, yes. So we actually just recently kind of moved things around. It's called the Multiverse Technology Podcast now, with the emphasis on leadership, mindset, business building, and healing, helping people understand that because you run the business doesn't mean that you don't need to work on yourself. Because most leaders nowadays, they come from a place of pain, anger, and they take that out on people, and it comes out, they see it in their companies, and they don't want to work there, and you lose your best people. So we talk about how as human beings, you have to be the same person in your business and in your life, and those people need to meet in the middle because you have to heal and work on yourself to be the best version of yourself. People nowadays don't want to work with people that are yelling and screaming and micromanaging them. An example, I'm considered a neurodivergent. I don't like being put in that box. But we react and see and understand things a lot differently. You can't say to other people. We don't take that kind of crap, period. We will
Right.
call you out. We're very blunt. We will tell you what's going on. And, you have to learn how to work with us, unfortunately, for some people. But we teach that to help them understand how that is in the workforce. It's different today.
Well, it's different today, but it's not so different because we've always had different learning styles and work styles. I shared this on another podcast today, and it's quite interesting. My son was working um, for a company for about 3 months this past spring. He had moved jobs. It looked like a great opportunity for him. They wanted him to come in and basically fix one of their departments for him. He said, absolutely. But he also knew that the core people had been working there for 30 years. So when he first came in, he said, tell me what you want me to fix. They said, oh, the department. He said, Got to break it down. And do you have any specifics? Things I can't do, things that I can do. No, you're the expert. He said, not in your business. I know how to fix things, but I have to make sure we're communicating. I kept telling him, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. And he and I usually have a morning conversation, and I'm that pep talk. It's okay. Go out and do what you got to do. And calls me one morning. He says, I know they're going to let me go. I said, why do you say that? He said, because they don't like anything I do. Everything I do, why did you do it that way? He says, and I explained it to them why I did it this way. And they'll go, oh, well, we didn't want you to do it that way. And he'll say, okay, how did you want me to do it? Just do it. To make a long story short, he has left there. He's found a better career move for him. But as we've talked about, because we all have different learning skills, we have to communicate that with each other. And
Yeah.
whether we say we're neurodivergent or not,
It
it
shouldn't
may
matter.
be one of the reasons, but it doesn't matter. Okay.
Yeah.
Tell me what it is that you expect of me. I will tell you if I can do that, or if I need some additional help to do it, or if maybe I'm going to walk away from it. Because if you don't feel comfortable doing a job, you don't feel comfortable. And again, as I said, my husband's in IT. He's a contractor, and there are some contracts he'll get, and before he'll start, he'll say, this isn't for me. I know I am not the person for you. He's not one that's just going to go in and buffalo his way through it.
That's what a lot of them do. Unfortunately, that's where we get the issue of communication and coming in being that hostile takeover.
Exactly.
You made a really good point though, too, because when people don't know how to communicate, they don't know what they want, then you can't really know how to help them. But also at the same time, what makes you better at your job is really digging down into that people and going further and further. And that's hard and that's tough. But that's how I kind of try to figure out my business right now is asking the tough questions to be a strategic business partner and really figure out what they really need. And it's not an easy task. They can't communicate it.
Well, and that lack of communication has gotten worse with the internet.
Yeah.
And there are times that I realize that most of my communication really is in my blogs and my podcasting. And then when I get face to face with somebody, sometimes I'm extremely quiet because my brain has to reprocess. Oh, I'm really having a conversation with you. Okay. And it wasn't a planned conversation. So now I got to make sure that the words that come out are correct. Whereas a lot of people just sit there and they'll just nod. Oh, I get it. I get it. And then you walk away and nothing's been
Me,
accomplished.
I'm like, I don't get it. I don't get
Yeah,
it.
exactly. So, who are some of the resources that you use for your podcast so that our listeners can reach out to you and learn more?
Yeah, so we're actually on Podbean, which pushes everything to Apple Music, YouTube, all the major platforms, Last FM. And they can also find it at multiverse technology podcast.net. And we're very big on video podcasting, so they can connect with us, see who we are, and create that human connection. So we are on YouTube, very strong presence on YouTube.
And where do you see yourself going with this business? Because we're always going to need cybersecurity. We always need communication. So where do you see yourself going with it in the next couple of years?
That is a very good question. Before I started the podcast, that was a hard one to answer. But as I started the podcast, it started giving me more clarity of the kind of people I want to work with and how I want to show up for them and myself. So over the next couple of years, I'm hoping to build the cybersecurity business and congruent with my podcast to really find people that I want to work with And like you were saying earlier, I will turn people down if we don't work together. I'm not trying to take on anyone, but I really want to find people who want to better themselves and then want to protect their business. Because like from my experience with companies I've worked for, people come to me asking me more than just IT questions. They kind of pour their hearts out and start talking with me. And that's what kind of helped me kind of gauge this also, being that IT support guy as well, like emotional support. It's really helped guide them into better direction of their lives and their business. So I
Well,
wanted that.
yeah, you're life coaching them through
Yeah.
their business, but they are their business. And that's what a lot of professionals don't understand. They think this is my business person and this is who I am socially, and it's not. We are
Yes.
one and the same. And I know when I talk about that with my clients, when they'll say, well, I'm really good at communicating at work, but I come home and I can't communicate with my friends. Well,
That's the problem.
what is your position at work? Are you management? Are you communicating down or are you communicating up? And when you're with your friends, it should be lateral. And if it's not lateral, then there's the disconnect. And as
Yeah.
soon as I started telling that to my clients, I started realizing how I communicate with my friends and family. And there have been times where I communicate like I'm the owner and I'm just talking up to them.
Same.
And it's like, no, 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 no. Got to come
Feel
down.
like I
We
went
got to be
down.
lateral.
Yeah, it's tough sometimes, not always easy, you know. I get frustrated myself. I'm a human being. I get upset, things happen, you know. And people think that you have to always be exactly the same. You have to be perfect. Oh my God, he yelled. Oh my God, I got upset. Oh my God, I can't. I'm like, dude, I'm human just like you know? But it's
Absolutely.
just learning that emotional intelligence part to be thoughtful and aware of what you're doing, how you're doing it. Did I eat? Did I go to the gym today? Am I showing up right now? Do I need to go lay on the couch and cry? What do I need to do? You know?
Exactly. So, how can my listeners find you, Justin?
Yes, they can find me by going to Justin, ITeeWalker.net. And that takes you to my LinkedIn page, and then you can reach out to me through there. And they can also go to Multiverse Technology Podcast.net if they'd like to be a guest or just have a conversation. I like to talk with people.
I love it. Well, all that's going to be in the show notes, so everybody will be able to find you. I want to thank you for sharing your journey with us, your
Yes.
business, and I want everybody to follow your podcast because we got to get secure in this world.
Yeah.
And let's do it the right way. And you don't have to spend millions to do it. And that's the
No,
interesting part.
you just
Have
really
a
done.
wonderful day, Justin.
Thank
Thank
you,
you.
Karen. I appreciate you.
Bye bye.